Hello everyone. Let us start our next topic from the lesson force and laws of motion. So last time we had talked about Newton's first law of motion. Do you remember the statement? Newton's first law of motion states that an object tends to remain an object, if it is at rest, tend to remain at rest. If it is in motion, it tends to remain in motion until or unless an external unbalanced force is applied on it. This is known as Newton's first law of motion or law of inertia. Children, last time also I had told you the definition of inertia. Inertia is the tendency of a body to resist its a change in its state of rest or of motion. It means, in very simple words, I'll tell you what does it mean. It means that if an object is at rest, it tends to remain at rest. It does not want its state of rest or motion to be changed. That property of the object or that tendency of a body or of an object to retain, to be in its same state as it is, that property is known as inertia. It means if we try to change the state of rest or of motion, the body or the object opposes that. That opposition given by the body or that tendency of the body to oppose that change is known as inertia. Last time we had talked about three types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction. I remember in my last video I had given you 5 examples. Like when you are sitting in a bus and it suddenly brakes are applied, then what happens? You tend to fall forward. The reason was inertia of motion. If a body or suppose you are sitting in a stationary bus or the bus which is at rest, when it starts suddenly, then what happens? You tend to fall backward, and reason behind that is inertia of rest. And when you are sitting in a car or a bus and it takes a sharp turn and you tend to fall on one side, the reason is inertia of direction. So children, there are 3 types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction. Inertia of motion, where do we apply? Where the object is already in motion. Where do we use this statement, inertia of rest? Where the object is already at rest. And inertia of direction, in that case when we change our direction. So inertia is of 3 types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction. Children, in the exam, if you will be asked to give reason why do you fall forward when brakes are applied suddenly and you are sitting in a bus and that bus applies brakes and brakes are applied suddenly to that bus, you tend to fall forward. Give reason. In that case, those type of questions, you will not simply mention inertia of motion or inertia of rest or inertia of direction, but you have to explain also. I'll give you one just recall what we had done last time. How are you going to write this answer? You will write that when we are sitting in a moving bus, our body along with the bus is in motion. But when brakes are applied suddenly, the bus comes to rest. Along with that, our feet which are in contact with the bus also come to rest. But upper part of our body tends to remain in motion due to inertia of motion, and this is the reason we fall forward when the brakes are applied suddenly to a moving bus. Same way children, these 3 types of inertias you have to explain. Question will not be asked how many types of inertia is there. On the application of Newton's first law of motion, you may be asked to explain. So there you need this part. Now children, one more thing. Inertia is mass is the measure of inertia. How can you say? Suppose there is a big, you can say, rock lying nearby you and you want to lift it up. Why are you not able to lift? Inertia, it is the property of the stone or the rock to resist a change in its state of rest. You are trying to lift it up. It does not want to lift. What about the mass? If it is a small ball, it will be easier for you to lift and change its state of rest if it was at rest. But in case of rock, it is quite heavy. You cannot lift it much. So the amount of opposition or the amount of resistance by the object is also much. So that is why it is written the mass of an object is a measure of its inertia. Why do we call them? Why do we say that mass of an object is a measure of its inertia? We say so because if the mass is more, more will be inertia. If the mass is less, less will be inertia. What is inertia? I have already explained that it is the natural tendency of a body to resist a change in its state of rest or of motion. So children, now you know that before we move further, let me give you, I just want to discuss one question with you. Have you ever noticed a bullet of very small size, when triggered from a rifle, it may kill a person. On the other hand, suppose there is a truck which is parked on the roadside, that will not bother you. But such a truck, even moving with a small, very less speed of suppose 5 km/h, may kill a person. Do you know the reason behind these two things? Similarly, suppose I hit you with a tennis ball. Will you get hurt? No. But if I take a cricket ball of the same size, I am not talking about mass, of the same size, it will hurt you. So what is the reason, children, in all these three cases? In first case, in case of bullet is very small. So how it is possible that it may kill a person? Second case, in case of truck, the example I gave you, even a truck moving at a speed of even 5 km/h may kill a person. In this case, the mass is too big. Third, I gave you the example of a tennis ball and a cricket ball. You do not get hurt by a tennis ball, but a cricket ball of the same size may hurt you. In these cases, not only mass is involved, something else is also involved. And that something else is velocity. In case 1, in case of bullet and fire, we fired the bullet. The mass of the bullet is negligible, very, very small. But the velocity with which it was triggered, that velocity is too much. So it was able to kill a person. It could kill a person. On the other hand, the velocity of the truck is very low. That is very less. That is 5 km/h. It's not a speed, much speed. It's a very slow speed. Even a truck moving at a slow speed of 5 km/h may kill a person. In this case, velocity is not high. But what is more, in this case, mass is bigger than that of velocity. In case 3, we had taken cricket ball and a tennis ball of the same size, but the difference was in their masses. Tennis ball is lighter than that of cricket ball, even though these two were of same size. So children, from this we come to know, when the objects are in motion, not only mass matters but also velocity matters. Not only mass but velocity also matters when we are trying to see the impact of motion of objects. So then Newton thought to find out a quantity which is the combination of mass as well as velocity. Then came into force a new term, That new term was called momentum. Now children, I have told that not only mass but velocity is also needed to be known to see the impact of the motion of the objects. First case, to see the impact of the bullet, not only the mass we had seen but velocity also mattered in that case. In case of truck, velocity did not matter much, but what mattered, that was the mass of the truck. In case 3, though the size was same but the masses were different, so that is why in this case also mass matters. So Newton thought to find out a new term which is the combination, which should be a combination of both mass as well as velocity. Then he found out a new term which was momentum. Now let us see the definition. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Product of mass and velocity is known as momentum. See, it is denoted by capital letter P. P is equals to m into v. P is the momentum, m is the mass and v is the velocity. So, what will be the SI unit of momentum? SI unit of momentum will be mass is kg, velocity is meter per second. So, SI unit of momentum is kg meter per second. Then children, Newton further studied and he formulated another law regarding the motion of the objects. Then he found out his second law. The second law of motion states that rate of change of momentum. What is change of momentum? How can we denote it? Like how do we denote change of velocity? Change in velocity. How do we show it? We show it as v minus u. And when I say rate of change of velocity, you say v minus u upon t. Similarly, how can you write rate of first change of momentum? Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So mv minus mu. This is the change in momentum. And what about the rate? That is upon t. So, Newton stated that rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the applied unbalanced force. And that force has to be in the direction of force. Applied unbalanced force in the direction of force. So, this was the Newton's second law of motion. How did it came into existence? Children, let me give you one more example. How did this law, what was the reason behind to find out this law? Suppose the battery of your car is dead, but you want it to start. What you do, you call a few persons from your neighborhood, you tell them to push the car. Suppose this suddenly give a jerk to the car. The car shifts from one place to another, but it does not get started. Second time, you ask them to push the car for a longer period. Then you see, suddenly the car attains a velocity of 1 meter per second and it starts. In both the cases, what was the reason? The reason was time. Not only momentum, the impact of the force does not only depend on the change of momentum, but it also depends on the time for which the force has been applied. So that is why this formula or Newton's second law of motion came into existence, stating that force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. This is rate of change of momentum. I think it is clear to you. Next time we'll see mathematical formulation of Newton's second law of motion. For today's class, this much only. Thank you, children.